Many thanks for staying with us on the conversation this morning. And today's topic, peculiarities of Lagos politics, is just, apt, considering what is happening, or reports just coming in telling us that the Lagos State House of Assembly is under lock and key, and it is being protected by security operatives. We have Taiwo Olakpade. He's a journalist and public affairs analyst. He'll be, taking us through that right now. You're welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, ma.
Yeah, we just got in reports that the Lagos State House of Assembly is, being on the lock and key and is being protected by heavy security operatives. Are you aware of that?
Yes, I'm aware. As I was coming down here, I drove past the House of Assembly, and I was surprised to see every security men and deployed to the area. And I had to make some calls through to some of my friends and colleagues that works in the House of Assembly, and reports emanating from the House also indicates that the office of the Speaker, as we speak right now, is also under lock and key. And we are asking the question, why?
So nobody
and that even the DSS men are also deployed there to also, and people are asking, for what reason do we have DSS men deployed to the office of the Speaker, lock the office, and even some of the lawmakers? And if it has to do with the removal, so to say, of the former Speaker, Right Honorable Munda Ashurobasa, I think they should allow...
But the matter is in court already.
That's exactly where I'm going. He has headed to the court, and he has even asked the court for accelerated hearing of the case. Why don't you allow the judicial process to really take its course and see how far it goes, not using the police, security men, DSS today, DSS tomorrow. This is not part of our democracy, and it won't take us anywhere. It won't even do us any good. Because ordinarily, the House is supposed to be in session as we speak right now, and surprisingly, every security man, deploy, to the assembly quarters, and people are even going under a routine screening before you gain access to the House of Assembly. But some of the lawmakers, as we speak right now, their office has been locked by many of the DSS.
So Lagos State has been seen as a model state where continuity has, been the order of the day, and has, seen Lagos, being being a state where every other state wants to copy. So with this development, what does this mean?
I'm so surprised and even amazed, because Lagos has been the it's like the pace setter. Of course, Oyo State, by the slogan, is pace setter. That's my state. I'm proud of my state. But then Lagos is like the signature of all eyes. Every other state, every other governors come to Lagos to learn. Particularly during the administration of former governor, who is now our current president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. A couple of other governors of other states will come to Lagos to ask Asiwaju, how are you doing it? Even then, we also had the speaker, former speaker, Right Honorable Adeyemi Kuforeji. I know a couple of assembly members from other states that will come to Lagos, stay like 2-3 days to really learn the routine of how governance are being done. And Lagos even became like the role model for other states. But this current development of removal, is not really painting Lagos the way it's supposed to be. And I think the earlier we lay this to rest, the better for Lagos State.
Lagos State politics has now evolved, over time, since the days of Lateef Jakonde, that was in 1979. Do you think some of these ideologies have been brought into today's governance of Lagos State?
Well, if you want to go back to history, Lagos was created by Decree 14 in 1967, I think May 27 to be precise, and ever since we've had several governors, the military, the civilian as well, that have governed the states at one point or the other. But sincerely, maybe for the convenience of time and for the benefit of our viewers, maybe we just narrow down to maybe from 1999, the Fourth Republic, so that we had Asiwaju 1999 to 2007. We also had the former Minister of Works, Babatunde Raji Fashola, from 2007 to 2015 thereabout. Then we had the former Governor Akiume Ambode, 2015 to 2019. Then the current governor of the state, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, is running his second term in office now. And we also want to look at the legislative arm of the state, arm of government. We are talking about 1999. We had Honorable Mamora, who also became a senator, also served as minister at the point. Then we had Right Honorable Jokotola Pelumi, who spent about 2 years. He was also removed the same way we removed the Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa was removed. I remember in December 2005. And then we had somebody also from the same Ekpe constituency. Jokotola was constituency 1. Ikuforiji was then constituency 2. So it was replaced by Ikuforiji. And that's one of the reasons why some people are saying how come that when Obasa was removed from Agege, maybe somebody from Agege 2 should also replace him. And the dimension or the circumstances that led to his own removal was not the same with what happened during the Jokotola Pelumi saga. So from Jokotola Pelumi, we had Right Honorable Adeyemi Ikuforiji, who also left the place in 2015. He also tried to also contest, or he contested rather, for the #1 seat, for the governorship seat, but he didn't win the ticket. Then we had Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa from Agege from 2015 to about January 13th, 2025, when he was removed from office. And, the removal was also done by his colleagues because he just won among equal. And the quorum, the quorum for removal is about 2/3. But we even have more than 2/3. So I think, and it should be their internal decision, because on the day he was also elected as the speaker to lead them, I don't think it was due to external influence. It was a unanimous decision that we must have a leader. Because you can't have a state, you can't have an entity or a forum, that somebody must lead us. And that's why we say it is one among equal. So it's like all of them are equal, but we must have somebody to speak for us. And that's why we say Mr. Speaker. And that is why even when the speaker, either even at the National Assembly or the Senate or House of Rep, if the Senate President is not available for sitting, or the Speaker House of Rep, if it is the deputy that is available, they also refer to him as Mr. Speaker or Mr. Senate President, because it is the seat, not you in particular, but the seat, and you are as the symbol of that legislative arm of government. So I wonder why this hula baloo, this front and back, and I'm happy because as fighting for his rights, of course, no one expected that a week keep quiet. If I have been removed and I felt like the removal is not
in your
within
opinion,
the law.
Did you think Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa was removed legally?
How else do you want to explain it? The removal was not done in an hotel. It was not done in a governor's lodge. It was done right within the chamber of the Lagos State House.
But why is he contesting it now?
It was also done with the mace, which is the symbol of the legislative arm of government in presence. It was also done by the lawmakers who also elected him in the first instance as their speaker. And it was also done with overwhelming majority. What the law says is 2/3, but we have well over 30 members of the House of Assembly that decided unanimously to say, okay, Right Honorable Mudashiru Obasa, you have led us, and we think we need a change of leadership. And for the very first time, we had someone in the person of Right Honorable Mojisola Lasbad Miranda coming as the first speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly. First female speaker. I beg your pardon, I stand to be corrected. So I see no reason why we shouldn't allow this woman to also take his chance and see the way it goes. But I'm happy that Obasa has gone the way of the law. He has approached the court and even demanded for accelerated hearing of the case. So maybe it felt like I have a case in court, and let's the judiciary decide this case.
Okay, so if I may say that in Lagos, we have not really experienced drama like this compared to other states that are always in the news, and and it's like we are looking forward
like
to
River State, if you allow
me. But again now, looking back and taking a critical look at this issue, if it's not properly handled, what are the unforeseen dangers that are looping?
Well, the bottom line is I sincerely, particularly for those who are politicians, all of us, we are homo politicus. Whether we like it or not, we play politics in one way or the other. And but for those in that cycle, I think it would be a dangerous precedent for somebody to. Well, if the law court pronounced him as the speaker, and if the court says it should be restated, please, I'm very careful with my word, then nobody can say otherwise. We are talking about the rule of law. But it shouldn't be a case of I was removed and I want to use the powers that be, or I want to use my own personal strength to return myself back to office. The best approach for this manner is what he has done by going to court. Let the court decide whether truly your impeachment or your removal, followed the due process or otherwise. Let the court make that pronouncement. We should leave it to the courts.
Okay, moving away from the legislature in Lagos State, let's look at the executive and other arms of government. Some residents are of the opinion that, one party, ruling the state for over 20
Since 1999, we have done about
over
24
years,
now.
Though it ensures stability. Some say it doesn't bring in fresh ideas. What is your take on that?
Well, for every democratic experience or experiment, there must be a very strong and viral opposition. And that's why even in abroad, even in abroad, you see a shadow government, you see a shadow minister, just to put those who are in government in check. But the reverse is the case in our own case. I was Senator Ajibala Bashir, the National Secretary of the reigning APC. He was asked this same question. And the manner, the way he answered, we use his own premise or his own logic. He said, if I belong to Arsenal, if I'm supporting Arsenal, will I be happy to see Manchester United thriving? Will I be happy to see Manchester City winning games? When we are also looking at the same trophy, which is the EPL, English Premier League. So that's the narrative. That's the narrative that Senator Ajibola Bashir gave, in the sense that, of course, if you also look at it, particularly at the national level, even at the state level, can you really say that we have opposition in Lagos State? We can even talk about that maybe when we return to democratic dispensation in 1999 till around about 2007, during the administration of the now president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Lagos State. But ever since 2007, can you really say that we really have opposition party in Lagos State? Between me and you will agree with me that the answer is no. But bearing in mind that, like I said from the beginning, that the best way for our democratic experience to grow is for us to have somebody to check us, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. So that's the way it is. If you think that, and you remember, even when at the national level, PDP said it categorically that we will rule for 60 years. But unfortunately, they only rule for how many years? For 16 years.
16 years.
So that's to show, you'll be wondering, that was Nigeria created for PDP? For them to have, frontally, for them to have boldly altered that statement that we are ruling for 60, that after 60 years, we'll go and rest. But sadly and unfortunately for them, their ruling rather lasted for only about 16 years. And even the APC now has done how many years? Maybe I think around 10 years. Buhari done 8 years. Ashwaju is almost completing 2 years. And you also recall that it was because we had a merger of some political parties that gave them the strength to upturn or to upseat the PDP at the federal level. So I don't see that even coming into play in Lagos State. Is it Labour Party? Is it, where is even PDP in Lagos State? That's the question. Do you know the chairman of the PDP in Lagos State? But if you ask me, I know one of of the APC, which is Honorable Cornelius Ojalabi. So is it that there is a crisis, that there's a faction, that even at the national level, there is a crisis of who is our national secretary. There is a crisis of should it be Damago? Should Damagun continue? Francis crisis of Wike and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Okay. I'm not saying that APC is also immune to crisis, but not as much as other political parties. Even in Labour too is also in crisis.
I'm glad you mentioned. I'm glad you mentioned Labour, and last elections we saw youth activism through.
It was a movement.
It was a movement through the Labour Party.
Through Peter Obi.
Yes. So what do you think? How do you think that will shape future elections here in Lagos?
Well, the way,
and of course ethnicity.
The way and religion. You can't take religion and because
and ethnicity.
Religion and ethnicity played a major role, particularly in 2023 general elections, both at the federal and even at the state level. So I sincerely, it looks like people are. I don't use the word that people are really getting tired or getting the way we saw it in the build-up to 2023 election. I'm not sure we're also likely to see such. I'm not a soothsayer, but then I don't know. I'm not too sure whether that, particularly because of the crisis. Before you know it, 2027 is very much around the corner. And if particularly the opposition parties, even at the federal and even in state, that's why I asked, who is the current chairman of PDP in Lagos State? I'm sure what we have is maybe factional, but we know we can say of APC, the current chairman of PDP at the national level, they have been embroiled in one leadership crisis or the other. And that's why we have seen much of defection now from PDP to APC. And what their claim is, at the national level, our party is in crisis. So that's why I decided to come to the National Assembly. We have seen about 3 senators. We have seen about 7 House of Rep members in the last 2 weeks. The campaign from PDP to APC, and their claim has been
that just left.
And their claim has been that my party is in crisis. So I'm not saying APC doesn't have their own internal crisis, but the best for us to have a good democratic experience is for us to have a very strong and viral opposition. But unfortunately, that is no longer the case. We have had that. Okay, when PDP was in government, APC was, then it was not even APC, ACN, Action Congress of Nigeria, was really putting them in check, was really on their neck, Every day, I know the way, APC will issue a press statement, counter this and counter that, but PDP, we don't see that. So I wish they could also resolve their crisis and give APC the run for their money. And that's why we Nigerians can really enjoy this democratic experience. But if we have a one-party state, that means there won't be anyone putting those in government in check, particularly when they are not doing what exactly we also elected them to do.
So this will lead me to my next question. Now, that's to say that Lagos is peculiar.
Of course, a very peculiar case.
So now, in your opinion, do you think that the continuity of one-party mandate would be beneficial to Lagos in the long run?
Well, the way Lagos politics is, whether you like it or not, sincerely, like I said, and I also want to reiterate that the benefit of when we say democracy, is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So, and it's also giving room for people, and that's why you see cross-carpeting. Politicians, in the morning is PDP, in the afternoon is Labour, in the night is APC. It's very common among them. But who suffers when the two elephants fight? They say it's the grasses. It's the grass that suffers. It is we, ordinary citizens. We go into during the rain, come sunshine, to vote for them. The masses are those who suffer this infighting, whether internal fighting or intra-party or inter-party crisis in our country. So, back to your question, whether we are likely to see, I doubt it sincerely. I doubt it, particularly for Lagos.
From what you have said now, some Nigerians have said, look, Lagos politics is attributed to godfatherism.
Well, we can't take that away, and it's not also it's not just peculiar to Lagos. The aspect of godfatherism, we can't say
plays a major role in Lagos State.
Of course, just like I said, Lagos is also a very peculiar case. Aside from other states, we can see what is going on in even in River State at the moment. It was we saw the way the election went. We saw the kind of backing support Nyesom Wike gave to similarly Fubara. But it doesn't even take them up to about 3 or 4 months when the crisis began. So we are not saying that godfatherism is totally wrong, because whether you like it or not, somebody must say, okay, let Taiwo go and do it, or let Lagbaja go and do it, or I give my support to Lagbaja, which is not bad. But it becomes bad when you are now at you are now shoving the person who you have assisted into office, or whom you have also supported in one way or the other. Whether you like it or not, a tree doesn't make a forest. You must have somebody, people around you to give either the backing, the financial backing, the strength, or even and politics is a game of number. You need people to support you, to vote for you at primary and even at the general election to win office. And sometimes, okay, imagine the kind of support that the current president gave to former President Muhammadu Buhari. We all saw it, but do you see Asiwaju now becoming like, oh, I'm sitting down here, oh yeah, Buhari, give me this, we didn't see that. For the 8 years of, the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari. And that is also like godfatherism, because it played a major role in ensuring that Buhari contested for about 3 times before he now, came back to the Southwest, the major talks, they sealed the major talks, and Asiwaju threw his weight behind him, and eventually he won that election.
We thank you very much, Taiwo Olapade, journalist and public affairs analyst, for sharing your thoughts on the peculiarities of Lagos politics. Lagos is indeed a peculiar state. We thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Cannot exhaust this topic anyway. So.
The conversation continues. Please stay with us.
The views expressed on this program do not represent that of the producer, management of Lagos Television, or the Lagos State Government. They remain the perspectives of those expressing them. Thank you for staying with Lagos Television.
The conversation. Let the conversation continue.